One.
Hi, everyone. This is real estate coach Craig Proctor. Welcome to the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show. It's my pleasure today to be interviewing Hugo Chinchay. He's in the Inland Empire in Southern California. Hugo, thank you for being with me here today. How long have you been a Craig Proctor member for?
Almost 4 years now, 3.5 years.
And tell me a little bit about some of the things that we were talking about before we got started here that are really working well for you.
Well, one of the things when I joined Craig Proctor was the awesome, but at the same time scary message, your home sold guaranteed, or I'll buy it. And that's definitely something that changed my business from where it was to where it's coming to be day by day. So the
explain to everybody how the guaranteed sale program works. Like if you were explaining this to a prospect, how would you explain it?
Well, basically, like most clients tell me, I said, well, I'm calling you because of your guarantee, and you will think that if you don't sell the house, you're going to buy it. So that's the first reaction, right?
Right.
But in reality, all we need to do is sit down. The whole purpose is to, first of all, have the client raise their hand. I want that. Number two, once you're in front of the client, you can tell them and explain them, look, this is what your house can sell for. Obviously, you are the expert, you are the professional. And once you bring all of that information, then the seller agrees with you that you can sell it in X amount of time. And if it doesn't sell, then you can buy it for an agreed amount of 80-90% of the value that you originally gave out.
So how many sellers that you meet with say, I want you to buy the house at 80 or 90% of market value versus I just want you to sell it for me?
As a matter of fact, almost nobody asks me about the guarantee sale program once I'm in front of them. That's also something that it was incredible, right? Because
so the reason they called you was an ad that you were running about your home sold, or we'll buy it, or we guarantee to buy your home. But many of the prospects, once you meet with them, they don't bring it up. They're not talking about that, although that is the reason they called you.
Exactly. And that's what is amazing about this. I was personally, as an agent, I was thinking the other way, but the reality is they don't even ask about it. All they want is have their home sold. And that's what they call you.
Okay. So to critics, okay, to naysayers that are watching this, they might say, well, that's a bait and switch. I mean, you're advertising something, you're getting home sellers to call you, but it's not something you offer. But that's not true, because you actually do offer this. The point you're making right now is the craziest thing is it's very attractive to sellers. It's the reason they call you. But when you get over to the kitchen table, many of the home sellers forget about it, and they just list their house with you the traditional way.
That is perfectly correct. That's the best way to say it. Yes.
Okay, so you're not so you're using the offer of, if we don't sell your house, we'll buy it, as a lead magnet. Home sellers are calling you, but the vast majority of the time they forget why they called you. You're now sitting at the kitchen table with a home seller, that a person that wants to sell their home. So we can argue that the ad did its job. But to address this whole bait and switch thing, you do offer this. If I was a home seller, and you get to my kitchen table and I say, no, I want to know about the guaranteed sale program, how would you explain it to me? So I get the point that most sellers forget why they called you and they don't bring it up. They don't mention it, which is great. You don't have to have any risk at all. You just list their home the normal way. But what about the, 1 and 2 or 10 and 2 that are all about that? So when you get to their house, they're like, no, man, I called you about the guarantee. I want to know how the guarantee works. How would you explain that to me?
Well, basically, first of all, as an agent, I have to be really prepare and very knowledgeable of what is the value of the house. That's number one. Number two, when I'm in front of the seller, I will, if they ask me, well, how much are you going to buy my house for? I will definitely discuss with the seller first, what is the real value of the house. And
okay,
then,
so that's the same process. I mean, that all of us would go through with the home seller. So the first thing you're going to do is, and all of us watching this, you would agree, the first thing that you always do with the seller is you have a discussion about the comparable home sales. You look around the house and you have a frank discussion about the house, what the house would actually sell for if we just sold the house on the open market, the traditional way. So this is, the same conversation you're going to have with every one of your sellers. Okay. Then now you start to discuss the guarantee. So let's just say, for round numbers, that you do a walkthrough of the property, you look at the comparable home sales, and you say to the seller, Mr. and Mrs. Home Seller, I think your home is worth $1 million. On the open market, I think we could sell it for $1 million. Now, how do you segue into what you would buy it for?
yes, I will have, depending, of course, on the condition, I will have a 90% or an 85 or 80% purchase after X amount of days if the house doesn't sell.
Now, are you taking your real estate commission off of that after the fact, or is it 80, like you've already taken the real estate fee off?
Well, my fee will be on whatever the value of the final sale will be.
Okay, so this $1 million home, if you took 20% off, you'd be buying it for $800,000, and then your commission would come off of that, right? Because you're buying it and you're not going to pay yourself a commission.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, now a couple things here. Doesn't the seller freak out when they're saying, well, you're telling me it's worth $1 million on the open market, but you're only going to buy it for $800,000? But so you might get some pushback there. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is you actually market the house for 3 or 4 months to try to get the seller a superior offer before you buy it, right? So if the house is worth more than what you're prepared to guarantee the homeowner would always have the opportunity of getting the highest offer, because you're going to market the home for 120 days before you buy the property, correct?
Yes, definitely. And that's something that I make also very clear to the seller. I'm going to market your house for $1 million. And if I get $1 million or more, will you want to take my offer or the higher offer?
Right. So this is a key point. Again, if you've got bad feelings about the guaranteed sale program, or you think it's some kind of, scam or bait and switch, get all the information here, folks. Understand, real estate agents, whether you like the guaranteed sale program or you don't like it. I brought this into the industry. As you know, I was the first one to do this. I popularized it. Is that a word? I popularized it. And pretty much every big team, not every, but a lot of big real estate teams all over the country are using the Craig Proctor guaranteed sale program. So this is the way you explain it to a homeowner. You say, look, I don't want to buy your house, and you don't want me to buy the house, but this is an insurance policy that I'm offering you. If you wish, if you don't want the guarantee, we're fine just to list your home the normal way. Now, when I say it's an insurance policy, here's how this works. In Hugo's case, he's giving the homeowner a guarantee. He's saying upfront, hey, I think your house is worth $1 million. Now, I don't really want to buy your house, nor do you want me to buy it, but I will make you a guarantee that other agents won't make, whether that be $800,000 or $900,000. That would be totally up to you. It's your guaranteed sale program. Now, Hugo made one observation right away that's really important, which is the craziest thing is most of the sellers that call Hugo off of the marketing or advertising for the guaranteed sale program, when he gets to their house, they don't even remember. They forget about it, and he just lists their home. There's no mention, there's no talk about the guaranteed sale program. So this is not something that Hugo would bring up unless the seller, broaches the subject. Now, If the homeowner at the end of the 120 days does not like Hugo's offer, doesn't want to sell it to Hugo, Hugo would be more than happy to say, I'm happy not to buy your house at $800,000, right? Like Hugo's already got a house. He doesn't need to buy the seller's house, but that guarantee is there. Now, keep in mind, realtors, you can't say at the end of the 120-day marketing period, you can't say to the seller, hey, man, I was just kidding. I'm not really going to buy your home. You have to be financially prepared for that to happen. Now, there are many realtors, when I was selling real estate, my competitors would say, well, Craig's just going to underbuy your home or, buy it for way less than. So I would give my guarantee to the home seller. And I said, well, you see that other agent that told you that, see if they're willing to buy your house for $900,000 or $800,000, and they would never sign it. Okay, so the seller, just to be clear, is going to be marketing their home with Hugo at 100% of what the home is worth. So Hugo, if the house is worth $1 million, we're going to list this house for $1 million. There will be built-in price reductions as we get closer to the 120-day mark. There's mandatory reductions, but it's to the seller's benefit and Hugo's benefit if the house just sells on the open market. It sells for $1 million, or it sells for $975,000, or it sells for $950,000. That's what the homeowner wants, but it's also what Hugo wants. Okay. The reason he's making the offer is so the homeowner doesn't get stuck owning two homes. That's the insurance policy that we're offering move-up buyers, right? Otherwise, the move-up buyer is confused as to what to do. If they own a house and they want to buy another one, they're like, well, should I buy first? Well, I could end up getting stuck with two homes if I don't sell my existing home in time. Maybe I should sell first. Well, if I sell first and I don't find my next home in time, now I've got no house, I'm homeless. So the Craig Proctor Guaranteed Sale Program helps move-up buyers by us offering the move-up home buyer an insurance policy that no other agent offers. So agents, you're watching this, you kind of want to believe it, kind of maybe you're not, you think it's a bait and switch, you got a sour taste about this. Let me repeat this again. It doesn't matter what you think about this. Buyers and sellers love this. Many of you know my story. I became the #1 agent in the entire world for Remax within 36 months of having my real estate license by doing one thing, offering a guaranteed sale program. Imagine how hard it would be to buy a new car if you had to sell your existing car, your old car by yourself on Auto Trader or whatever. Car dealerships understand if we want to sell new cars, we got to make it easy. We got to take the old car in trade. So this is like a trade-up program. Okay, there's no risk to the move-up buyer of getting stuck with two homes. And it's something that sellers are grateful for. Imagine if you were a move-up buyer and you'd bought a house, no conditions, and now you've got to close two houses. You can't get your house sold. You would be very happy to have an offer from your agent at that point, so you don't have to carry two properties. This is totally up to the client. They can take the guarantee from Hugo, or they can reject it and say, no, that's not acceptable. Now, sometimes, Hugo, I imagine there's a bit of back and forth, right? Where you say, no, I think your house is worth $1 million. And they agree. That's the first thing we always have to get the client to agree with. Before we talk about any guarantees, we got to agree on like, what is your house worth on the open market? So that's the same conversation, same back and forth that every real estate agent has with every seller, is we got to come to an agreement on what this home is actually worth.
Yes, and that's one of the conditions, right? Me and the seller has to agree on the price. And if there is no agreement, then there is no guarantee. And that's very simple. When that dawned on me, and I said, that's brilliant, because that's exactly what I want to discuss every time with the seller. And if the seller doesn't agree with me, then there is no guarantee. If they want their own price,
Well, that happens every day. I mean,
right.
I'm a real estate agent, and some of the sellers I meet with are not going to be realistic with what their home is worth. They're not motivated. So I can choose as a real estate agent not to list that house, not to represent them. Well, it's the same thing here. Now, I must say, Hugo in this situation has some leverage. And let me explain what I mean by that. Hugo has a bit of leverage with the seller because the seller usually, not always, the seller usually wants the guarantee more than Hugo wants to give it. So if the seller agrees, the seller might think, oh, my house is worth $1,050,000. And Hugo can say, well, we would base the guarantee on $1 million. I believe the house is worth $1 million. So you've got a bit of leverage to get the seller to be realistic with the price, because they usually want the guarantee more than you want to give it. So, but remember, this would be your guarantee sale program. So all of you can decide how it works. So you could guarantee 95% of market value. Heck, you could guarantee 100% of market value. I wouldn't recommend that. You can guarantee 90%, but there has to be a little bit of a discount, or why would the seller even try to sell their home if you're just going to run around town buying all the houses for 100% of market value? So it's pretty easy to explain that away to the seller. It's like, well, I can't offer you 100% of market value, or everyone in town would just call me and I would come over and buy their home. So financially, I can't do that, but I can offer you an insurance policy that you won't get stuck with two homes. Although I can't offer you 100% of market value, I can guarantee you 95% or 90% or 80%. So this is something that you would be marketing to get more sellers to call you. It's a tool that you have in your toolbox. And this will not be for everybody. And if the homeowner, if I'm the homeowner and I do not like Hugo's guarantee price, it's not like Hugo's going to pack up his briefcase and leave the house. Hugo can still just list my home the normal way, right? If I say, well, my house is worth $1 million, why would I sell it to Hugo for $800,000? Hugo would say, okay, well, how about we guarantee $850,000 or we guarantee $900,000? Or Hugo might say, well, forget the guarantee then. Why don't we just list your house the normal way for $1 million? Now, even though the guarantee is not in play here, you can see how the guaranteed sales program that Hugo promoted helped to get to my kitchen table, and I ended up just listing my house the normal way.
Yeah.
Right. So what's the worst thing that can happen is sellers that were never otherwise going to call you are going to call you and you're going to list their home.
And two things, Kurt, it's very incredible. You said obviously you were the ones who brought in this into the industry. In reality, you created the iBuyers because that's what it is, right? They're buying homes for cash for a discount. And I cannot believe it, how much some people are willing to do that no matter what. And you're thinking, no, everybody wants more. Everybody wants to list their home for more. But there are some people out there, and that's why the iBuyers exist. Otherwise, they wouldn't exist. These people, right? There are sellers who don't mind giving their house away at 90 or 80% or even lower. So,
right. Well, look, we can't say that the iBuyer thing wasn't a thing. We know that there's a percentage of homeowners all over the country that like the convenience of having an instant cash offer. Now, what's better about the Craig Proctor Guaranteed Sale Program versus an iBuyer offer is if I go to Open Door or OfferPad or one of these iBuyer companies or Zillow when they used to do it, the instant offer that I would get, and usually it's not instant, by the way, but the offer I would get from the iBuyer companies is my final price. There is no opportunity for the home seller to receive and accept a superior offer. Now, that's what's better about the Craig Proctor Guaranteed Sales Program is the seller gets to market their property for 120 days, and the home seller always gets the highest offer, whether it's your upfront guarantee in writing to them or a superior offer from an outside buyer during that 120-day period. Now, if you were the home seller and you had bought another home and Hugo has your house listed and he's doing all the stuff that real estate agents do, and you can see he's trying really hard, obviously Hugo's motivated. He don't want to buy your house. He's already got a house, right? Hugo's not going to make any money buying and selling houses and carrying them. So you got a motivated realtor here. But after 120 days, if despite Hugo's best efforts, if you have not received an offer on your home and you've had dozens or hundreds of buyers through your home during that 120 days, you might be thinking at that point, gee, I'm glad I have this guarantee for $800,000 or $900,000 or whatever it is. Now, I want to step back for a minute and address this bait and switch thing that I hear agents talk about all the time. oh, Craig, well, that's a bait and switch and nobody really does the guarantee. That's just not true. That would be like saying iBuyer companies never buy houses. This guaranteed sale program has helped tens of thousands of home sellers all over the country. We can't say it's not a thing. If sellers didn't like it, they wouldn't be calling us about it and they wouldn't get involved in the program. They don't have to call us about it. And when Hugo gets to their house and explains it, they don't have to go forward on it. Now, think of the guaranteed sale program or whatever you're offering, whatever your offer is. We're going to talk about another one here in a minute. But whatever you're offering, the job of what you're offering is actually to get people that want to buy and sell to call you. Why do we think this is a negative thing? Oh, it's a bait and switch. What Hugo's doing, he's just promoting this guaranteed sale program so home sellers call him. Yes, that's exactly what he's doing. Let me remind all of you watching this. When you're advertising your listings, okay, you get a listing and you've been taught advertise my listing. Well, one problem right away is everyone wants the guaranteed sale program, but not everybody wants your listing. You list a 3-bedroom home, a whole bunch of people aren't going to call you because they want a 4-bedroom home. It's got a pool, a whole bunch of people don't call you because they don't want a pool. Your listing's on a corner lot, a whole bunch of people are not going to buy it because they don't want a house on a corner lot. So we teach you how to offer what everyone wants versus what hardly anyone wants, which is your listing. It's a very tiny, narrow offer. Now, here's the craziest thing about it. When you get an ad call or a sign call, you guys be honest with me. You can type in the comments below. When you get an ad call or a sign call, what percentage of the buyers, once you give them the information on your listing, say, oh my God, this is the house of my dreams, and they go buy it? Versus what percentage of the buyers say to you, oh, thanks, but no thanks. That's too big, it's too small, wrong location, too much money, or whatever. Almost 90% of the ad calls and sign calls you get don't buy the property. And what do? You say, well, what are you looking for? And you switch them on to a house that you don't have listed. Talk about bait and switch. So that's the craziest thing I've heard, right? Oh, Hugo, this guaranteed sale program is bait and switch. Every one of you are involved in bait and switch. You're offering something, in this case, your listing, to trick prospects into calling you, knowing they're never going to buy the property. You know they're not going to buy that property. You've been selling real estate long enough to know that this is true. 80 to 90% of sign calls, ad calls you get, you tell them about the property, too big, too small, whatever. You say, what are you looking for? And then you switch them on to homes that would match their criteria. Tell me you don't do that, right? Or do you just say, oh, I'm sorry, this is a 3-bedroom. You're looking for a 4-bedroom. Goodbye, and you hang up. You don't do that. We all learn the art of call conversion. Right? So I would say, well, Hugo, what are you looking for? Well, that's a 3-bedroom. I want a 4-bedroom. I like this part of town. I want something with a pool. Now, if I don't have one of those listed, I'm going to talk about listings on MLS that match his criteria. I baited Hugo, the buyer in this case, into calling me. I tricked him into calling me off of my house. And once I talked to him, I found out that, well, that's not the right house for him. And then I switched the buyer to something else. We've got to get past this thinking of just because it's something you're unfamiliar with or you don't know or you don't understand it, that it's a bad idea. Guys, look around your marketplace, your city, your state. How many of the top agents in the world are using the Craig Proctor guaranteed sale program? You are literally in a different business once you do this, or you can just keep selling houses like everybody else. Right, okay, so guaranteed sale program, that's number one. Number two thing we want to talk about is the RBID system. Okay, RBID. Now, some of you are like, what the hell is the RBID system? I never heard of this before. We never heard of it because we invented it. That's why you never heard of it. So, Hugo, explain what the RBID system is.
The RBID system, it's an auction-like listing of your home when it gets sold. And I say auction-like because it's not a real auction, but it produces a super graded amount of buyers and sellers. Demand goes off the roof on your listings compared to any other listing that is in the market. And 99.9% of the time, the house sells for more money even in this market, especially should say in this market where everything is selling, below asking price. That's
All right, let me jump in
summary.
and interrupt for 1 second. Did everyone hear that? The RBID home marketing system causes increased demand, really an auction effect for your listings. Okay, creating massive interest in competition. Isn't that what the home sellers are paying us to do? As the listing agent, isn't that what the home sellers are paying us to do, is to set their house apart from all the other homes, create massive interest in competition. We want buyers fighting over the property. As Hugo said, even in this market, even though the market slowed down, we don't let the market dictate our success. We create our own market. Okay, through marketing, we create our own market. So explain how it works. How do you create this massive auction effect?
Yes, well, first of all, the pricing strategy is not your traditional CMA. That's number one and one of the most important aspects of this system. You have to really work through, and we wouldn't have enough time to go over all the details, but there are at least 6 steps in pricing the home. You're going to look at, demand overall within 5 miles and within 1 mile of the home. So what is how buyers are actually looking for homes similar to with the ones you are doing. So that's a number one. Number two, you're going to find out where are the highest amount of sales happening. Where is the price point? Is it at 900? Is it at 1 million? Or is it at 1.1 million? Where are the most amount of sales happening? That's the absorption.
And why is that important? Why is getting all this information important?
It's like fishing, right? You're not going to throw your rod where there is no fish. You have to throw the rod where there is the fish. So if all the fish are in this price range, that's where you want to put your house in so that you can get the most amount of demand.
Okay, so what you're saying is rather than just flying blindly and doing business wherever in my neighborhood or whatever listings I happen to get, rather than just marketing what I have, you're doing some research on the multiple listing system. You're looking at what is selling, what's in high demand. And instead of just marketing the listing you have, you're doing this research to find out what it is that buyers and sellers really want. Correct.
If they're looking for, salmon, I want to offer a salmon. I'm not going to offer, a tuna. That's basically how I am, picturing what I'm doing with my listing. And that's how, we do that. And then number 3, I look at all of the actual homes that have closed, how many of them have closed with a higher price, how many homes are sold with a lesser price. I add up and make a comparison, and I tell the seller, look, 80% of the homes have sold for less money at about this much, which represent this much money that was not made because of the wrong pricing to begin with, which could have been avoided if the right pricing would have been done at the very beginning.
So they sold for less money by overpricing their property.
Correct. And the statistics shows it. So it's not like me. I think that, it's not me giving an opinion.
So you're educating the seller using statistics that are available, by the way, to all of us. All realtors have access through MLS to these stats. So what are you accomplishing here? You're educating the seller on the stats, but what's where are you trying to take the seller in this conversation?
I am trying to bring the seller to a point as to where is the higher demand ratio at the fastest sale timing according to the stats to where the house should be placed in.
Okay, so you're taking a more scientific approach using the statistics on MLS. So the seller is not just taking your opinion, you're actually being able to use these statistics to educate and prove to the seller what the optimum price they should be listing their house so it sells for the most amount of money in the quickest amount of time.
Correct. And I basically, you know, when I am run through all of that, I throw in front of them and I tell the seller, seller, there is price A, you have 30% chances of selling it. Price B, 90% chances of selling it, or choice B, 1% chances of selling. Where do you want to put your house for?
Okay, so that's pretty obvious. What happens next?
And so they feel 100% that they're choosing the price, right? So in this case,
right. So you're not telling them the price. You're giving them choices, and you're saying, what do you want to do? So you're turning this around to let the seller pick the price.
Correct. And by the way, one important aspect of all of this is that I have done all of this work before, number one. And number two, when I am meeting the seller in the normal way, show me your house, looking around and so forth, before I'm opening my numbers and my stats, I am finding out why they're selling. If I don't know their real motivation, what problem I am supposed to, you know, solve for them, all of this conversation is going to go nowhere.
So if they're not motivated, obviously you're probably not even there, but you're handling the situation very differently than someone who's like, I'm going through a divorce, I've been transferred, I'm super motivated.
Correct. It depending on where they are, then I will know exactly whether this is going to work better for them and it's going to be an easy, or it's going to require a little more explanation or work.
Okay, so let's say I'm super motivated. I've got a reason why absolutely 100% I need to sell my house. What happens next?
Well, after I show all the stats and obviously the price where that house should be, I tell them exactly how much they're going to net out of this, you know, number they picked from the options. And I ask them, will this solve your problem? Would you be happy if I give you the minimum? This is the worst case scenario. This is how much they're going to need. Is this okay with you? And they say yes. 99% of the time, the number is yes. And guess what? That number contains 7% commission. Okay,
so you're talking net instead of having a discussion about your fee.
Correct.
Okay, so I've agreed. Okay, Hugo, if you net me X amount of dollars, I would be satisfied with that. If you net me that amount or more, what happens next?
Next is I explain them. We're going to do something different than your normal listing process. We are going to have all of what is necessary and the due diligence 17 days period given to the buyers up front. We're going to have home inspection done, prelim, natural hazards, termite, everything ready, including your disclosures, all of it. We're going to have them ready and available for download on the MLS. For anybody who wants to come and see your home, will have access to those. Because I explained this to sellers and they get amazed and they get like, wow, that's something so awesome. When I tell them, look, how about if a buyer comes in a normal listing and within 17 days, they say, well, I don't like what I see on that report. I don't like what I see.
It gives them time to change their mind.
Exactly. Yep. Or cancel you. Right. Because you want to cancel them because they're asking you for insane amount of repairs that you don't have the money to do or whatever. So, but if we address all of this at the beginning, we are going to weed down all of those buyers that wouldn't be closing anyways. So we don't want them to be here. So
right. Okay. So now you've made this house very attractive for buyers because A, you've priced it properly, aggressively. B, You've got all of the contingencies, all the information, everything that would possibly give a buyer an out or would give a buyer an opportunity to come back and renegotiate the deal. That's all been done up front. So what happens next?
Next, we tell the seller, by the way, we're not going to show your house in the traditional way. Oh, I'm coming at 10, I'm coming at 6, I'm coming on Tuesday, I'm coming on Wednesday, and then you're running, and it's so inconvenient. We are going to have 1 day showing for 1 hour maximum, and everybody has to come at that time. And you may think, but we're going to lose people that can't come. And I said, leave that to me. I take care of all of that, no worries, because I'm sure you understand that when you have a dentist appointment or you have, a physical or whatever appointment, you request time off. How much important is to come and see a home? And most sellers said, you're right. Okay, great. So don't worry about it. I'll
Right.
take care of this.
In other words, if the buyer will take time off work to go get their teeth cleaned, the buyer will take time off work to come to your house. So everyone understands where we're going here, right? What Hugo's doing is he's artificially creating what we call the Craig Proctor auction effect, where on purpose, we're driving all the buyers to the house at exactly the same time. Now, I want everyone to think about that. Let's say that you're one of the buyers and you get there and there's 50 other buyers. Hugo has 50 other buyers there and they're realtors. This place is going crazy. It's like a zoo. First of all, it's great marketing because I'm sure, Hugo, you're videoing all this and it's great to demonstrate in your listing presentation. Look at the auction effect. Look at the demand I create. Now, if you were one of those buyers and you show up and you see 50 other buyers there and you kind of like this house, you're interested in this house, and you look around and you see 50 other buyers and some of them seem to be really interested in the house, psychologically, what impact does that have on every buyer? So this is what our sellers are paying us to do, is to create this massive demand. And the crazy thing is about this, which Hugo will get to, the house actually sells for more money and sells in an hour.
And I don't know if I can show this really quick video. Can I share that screen? Because this is not just theory, okay? This is real life. And I have done this just in January of this month. I mean, this year. What we have done with one of my RBID listings, where a lot of people come in, and basically I had 75 people come into my last listing.
And by the way, folks, RBID just stands for real estate bid. It is just something we made up. Okay. It's just something we made up. We had this, we had this idea like 15 years ago of how we're going to create an auction effect. This actually started way back with my Craig Proctor Sunday tour of homes, where I would open 6 houses. Each house would be open for 10 minutes each. Because I had 6 houses open, we got 6 times as many buyers coming out, but we would force all the buyers to come to each house at exactly the same time, creating this auction effect. The only difference here, Hugo has 1 house, he's keeping it open for an hour. So this is something we've literally been doing for 15 or 20 years. So I think you can share it. Try share the video.
No, it's not. I'm disabled.
Okay, Faith, can you give Hugo the ability to share? And you'll have to, if it's got audio, you'll have to share with audio there, Hugo.
Yes.
Okay.
It's now enabled.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Here we go.
Let's check it out.
This is the registration table. And this is how many people are starting to arrive. And there is no more parking space in the street. The neighbors are scared.
We're not seeing anything yet.
I'm sorry.
It says you've screen sharing, but we're not seeing the video yet.
Okay. Let me see here.
Don't worry, I've got the same problem too. What I usually do is I've got 2 monitors. So sometimes, you think you're sharing it and you're not. So give it another shot. Says you're screen sharing.
Yeah, okay.
But we're just seeing a black screen.
Let me let me try this way.
Yeah,
Anyways.
it's a pretty good visual if we're able to show it. So I would do the same thing at my Sunday tour of homes. I mean, I have a video of this. Would be huge during a listing presentation to demonstrate to the seller how you create this massive auction effect. Yeah, I guess it's not going to work for whatever reason.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
No problem. But what we could do is maybe we can have a link to this that we can put in the comments below. If you folks want to watch it after the fact, we can do that. Also, we'll put in Hugo's contact information. If you folks want to call Hugo, he's growing his team, by the way. If you're in Inland Empire in Southern California and you're looking to partner up with a great team, Hugo's business is exploding exponentially. He needs more agents on his team. He actually gives you appointments, not just leads, but he gives you listing appointments and buyer appointments. He gives you the presentation. He coaches and trains you. Why does he do that? Because he's got so much business coming in. He can't physically go out on all the appointments himself. That's why he needs to leverage himself and partner up. So if you're in the Inland Empire, Southern California, you want to make sure that you look up Hugo, and we'll put his contact information below. And by the way, if you want to book a call with myself or my team, we'll have a link for a call that you can schedule with me. It's proctorcall.com. So just my name, Proctor Call, no spaces, proctorcall.com. That takes you to my Acuity Day Timer, and you can book a breakthrough call where basically we can talk about what we're doing here, answer your questions. We can have a discussion about what you're currently doing and how that's working. Try to give you some better approaches. I mean, Hugo, how long were you in real estate before you met me?
27 years. Now it's 30.
Okay. So you were in real estate. You were a realtor for a long, long time. And what would be your average gross commission income? Like before you met me, what kind of money were you making as a real estate agent?
I will say 40, 50. My best year was 90,000.
Okay. So you were like making 40, 50,000. Your best year before Craig Proctor was around $90,000 in GCI. What does that look like today?
Well, with the RBID system, I've been able in some months to make over 100,000 a month.
In 1 month. So would it be true to say that you're making more in a month now that you're using the Craig Proctor system than what you were earning in an entire year prior to being involved with Craig Proctor?
Yes, and that's crazy. I didn't know that could be possible.
Yeah. I want all of you to think about that. I mean, do you believe that that could be true for you? That you could, I could take your yearly income and turn it into your monthly income. Think of what a tremendous difference that would make in your life. Even if I helped you get one more closing a month, you know, if you're in California, I don't know, what's the average commission, 10, 20, $30,000. Imagine getting one more commission check every single month. This is totally duplicatable, folks. I've had 30,000 agents come through my training. And Hugo, I'm glad that our past we crossed paths like many, many years ago. And you've been with the Craig Proctor system for how many years?
3.5 years.
3.5 years. So you've had tremendous growth in your business in the last 3.5 years.
But you know, I was with Remax before, and I heard about you, and I have taken a couple of ideas. That was when I made 90,000.
Yeah.
But obviously, in the last 3.5 years, I said I'm going 100%. I'm going all in, and here I am.
So what's your vision for your business now that you're fully plugged into the Craig Proctor system? You've been with us now for 3.5 years, making $100,000 a month. What do you see happening to your business? Like, what's your goal for the next couple of years?
Well, my goal is to have a team that produces the same amount of transactions that I'm doing, which in turn obviously is going to make the team grow a lot more. Basically serve as many families as I can and make agents dreams come true as they make homeowners dreams come true by serving them for life, not just the one-time transaction.
Yeah, that's very well said. You know, a lot of real estate agents are like, well, my goal is to make more money. Well, okay, that's very a basic need is, and I understand when things are not going well, and the first person you want to take care of as a realtor is you want to take care of yourself and your family. But imagine having a business that's so successful that you take care of your own financial needs, your family's financial needs. But when you start to grow out your team, you're helping all the members on your team, whether they be administrative people, you're providing them great opportunities and great careers, and all your outside sales agents and your inside sales agents. But your impact goes further than your family and your team members and their families. It's all the hundreds or eventually thousands of buyers and sellers that you're going to help with their dreams, their real estate dreams. And we all know real estate is the best way to become wealthy. So one last thing, Hugo, you give money back to the local community. You've got a worthy cause. So, in the beginning, when you're making 40,000, 50,000, 90,000, you can't help all these other people. You're just trying to survive and make a living selling real estate. But now you've got the luxury to be able to take care of everyone on your team and actually give back to the community.
Exactly. Yes. We help our local hospital, Loma Linda Children's Hospital here, and also a low-income scholarship in Mexico for students that can't afford to finish.
Definitely. So that feels pretty good. I mean, it gives us the bigger, purpose that there's, more to this than just being a real estate agent. And for those of you watching this, do you remember when you got into real estate and you felt really excited the first couple of weeks or first couple of months? And some of you still feel that way today. That's how I want all Craig Proctor members to feel every day. I want them to feel excited and enthused and be attracted to their business because what they do is fun. Okay, we make it interesting. If you're the type of person that likes working on the marketing strategy, and eventually you might want to move out of your business and grow a team. So if you have a team, it really becomes a business when you get to the point of it works without you. Speaking of Mexico, Hugo, we were just in Mexico in Cancun last week. And my first year in real estate, I never could have done that because my business would have stopped because I didn't have a business. I had a job, right? It revolved around door knocking and phone calls and all the traditional stuff. But you get to the point where when you understand marketing first, it will help you. It'll liberate you when you understand proper marketing. So you don't have to cold call or door knock. I want to show you how to generate so many buyers and sellers coming to you that you actually get to the point where you can't even work with all the buyers and sellers. And that's when I next show you how to grow your team, how to recruit and hire and train them. And then, so for the first couple of years, you're still selling real estate and you're giving the overflow business to your team, to your outside sales agents. But eventually you can make your business big enough where you could replace you with other people. Now, when you get to that point where the business works without you, you truly have a business, whether you're on vacation in Mexico or wherever you want to go or whatever you want to do. And that should be the goal of every real estate agent. I would say going into the future here, Hugo, real estate agents are going to have a choice because I've made the team concept so popular over the last 30 years. It is the proven model. So everyone in real estate is going to be forced to make a choice, whether they want to create their own super productive sales team, right? Super profitable sales team, or whether they want to work on someone else's team. That's going to be the choice in the years to come. It'll be extremely difficult for a realtor to compete as a solo realtor. In fact, Todd Walters and myself wrote a book on this about 10 years ago. You can get it on Amazon. And it's all about the rise of it's called the death of the traditional real estate agent and the rise of the super profitable sales team. Okay. You can find that on Amazon. And this book was probably written 15 years ago. We predicted back then, and everything is played out perfectly as we laid it out in the book. So the death of the traditional real estate agent and the rise of the super profitable sales team. Many of the chapters in that book, by the way, are not only written by Todd and myself, they're written by our super successful Craig Proctor members from all over the country that have huge teams and multi-million dollar businesses. So you guys should grab the book. Hugo, I want to thank you so much for educating us and sharing today what's making you successful. Very unique. I hope everyone enjoyed this. Let Hugo know. Let us know in the comments. You can reach out to Hugo. You can just Google him. Okay, you'll find all kinds of social media. But I want to thank you, Hugo, for doing this. You're an amazing sharer, and I know you're going to have another great year here in 2023. Any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Yeah, well, I really want to thank you because without, your program, without what you teach us, I wouldn't be able to do this. And it has changed my my career, my life, and has really come exactly with my core values. They're a perfect match because it's all about service. It's all about, putting others first. And I'm just thankful for that. And money comes as a result of a job well done.
Yeah, well said. Hey, for any of you that want to book a call with me, it's free. It's no obligation. It's called a breakthrough call. It's just a conversation about where you are and where you want to take your business. Why wouldn't you take me up on this offer? Okay, it's a chance to have a conversation about what you're doing and where you want to take your business. We would just give you our approach. We would say, well, look, if I was you, this is what I would do differently. And we would say, okay, have you ever thought about doing this? Or this is a different approach, just like you heard a lot of new approaches here today. If I was you, I would at least take that information. If somebody that's made millions and millions and millions of dollars selling real estate every year wants to offer you a free conversation about how they did it. I sold more houses during that time period than any other agent in the country. I was #1 in the world for Remax. I sold over 10,000 homes. Okay. And I've coached over 30,000 agents. All of you watching this right now have the opportunity to pick my brain. Now, at the end of our call, it'll be about 40 minutes long. You can decide, hey, this is something that interests me. Maybe I'd like to get involved with Craig, or maybe not. Maybe, you've checked it out and it's not for you, which is totally okay. I've got more agents coming to me for help, believe me, than I could possibly handle. So let us know if you'd be interested in that. We'll put in the link below. It's my name, proctorcall.com. So no space, just proctorcall.com. You'll go to my Acuity Day Timer. There'll be some days and times available. Pick one that works for you, and we'll see you on the other side. So Hugo, thanks again for doing this. Keep doing a great job. Very proud of what you've accomplished. We'll get you back on another one of our Craig Proctor podcasts here. We'll check in again over the next year and see how you're progressing. But wonderful job. Hugo Chinchay from Inland Empire in Southern California. Thank you very much for the interview today.
Thank you. Thank you.